And we are live with another episode of the Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish, because it'll probably go over an hour, but that's okay. It's a good topic. It's worth getting into and going a little bit over for. So before we get into it, I would like the new person on the Sci-Fi Power Hour to introduce himself. Go ahead, sir.
Referring to me or Triple
You
M?
with the pip-plup. You with the pip.
Yeah. Oh, me.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Hello. Hello. This is Pedophile from Video Game Facts on Discus, and I'm here because I am a major Godzilla fan.
Oh.
Just like everyone else here.
Oh, okay. So
we can talk me on that.
Yeah, I put out the call. I said I wanted people who were really into Godzilla to be in this cast because, you know, if you're going to talk about Godzilla, you need people who are knowledgeable about the films and Godzilla's abilities and various designs and stuff like that. But before we go further, the other person in this cast who's an inkling, a black inkling with a gun, a squirt gun. Go ahead, sir.
All right, Triple M here, and still can't figure out if I'm a kid or a squid. But I'm probably a squid just by the looks of the avatar. Oh yes, and also I got my trusty splatter shot with me. So if I'm ever going to get eaten by this Jurassic character, I got something to protect myself. But probably that's not going to help much. But hey, at least I'm not going to get killed. I'm squealing like a little kid, but onwards.
Okay, and his eye, Mr. Red Fox. This is a new show trying to get out, Sci-Fi Power Hour, and the first one was just generally about Star Trek, and this one we're talking about the king of all monsters, a gigantic fire-breathing dinosaur, or a lizard, or a fish, but definitely never an iguana. Godzilla, or as the Japanese call him, Gojira. Gojira, yes. So I guess we should get started with what was the first Godzilla film any of you guys ever saw?
For me, it was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
That's cool.
Yeah. Though
that one is.
Though before that, I was first introduced to this series from the Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
You mean Godzilla, and Godzuki?
Yeah.
Okay, Triple M, what was your first one?
Yeah. Like with Pinky Dawn, before I even I've seen any film of Godzilla or Gojira, I actually saw the Hanna-Barbera cartoon of Godzilla with Godzuki. But the first one that I've actually seen, well, probably maybe not in its entirety, it was actually a black and white film, and I still can't remember the title of that one.
Let me ask you a question.
Describe.
Did the film have two monsters in it or one?
It was just one.
Okay, that was the original Godzilla. Yeah, that was. Was there a white guy in it explaining things? Kind of like a fat white guy, like kind of hefty, short.
I can't really. Okay, I guess I was paying more attention to to Godzilla than all the human characters. So, heck it.
And how did it end?
The fat person.
Well, he didn't see the whole thing, so. But yeah, that was, you were probably watching either, I think because they really pushed the Americanized 1955 Godzilla, which is the one that a lot of people saw first. And you know, look, you got to get your Godzilla any way you can. You know, it's you can get it abridged 1955, or you can go for the original 1954, whatever works for you. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of the. I'm not a huge fan of the 55 one, just because I'm not cool with Perry Mason being in it, or them taking out entire sequences. Because I'm like, I mean, you know, I'm smart enough to realize what this is about. You know, I don't need, you know, Joe Blow asshole here. That's just me. So I guess it's my turn to talk about the first Godzilla film I've ever seen. Unlike you guys, I did not start with the cartoon. The first Godzilla film I have ever seen was the very first one, 1955 Godzilla, the American one that was basically the Americanized version of it. And then, like later on, I watched the Japanese one, and I like the Japanese one better just because it's more faithful to the source material.
It's the original.
Yeah, you can't beat the original. You can never beat the original, folks. You can never beat the original. But
no. I'm at you because in
yeah,
the order that you've seen them.
Well, it's just because the original is just so. Like here's the dirty little secret, and I'm pretty sure Pinky Don would agree with me on this one. Godzilla, the very first Godzilla film, especially the Japanese, the original version, is a horror movie. It's a straight up horror movie. It's terrifying. Definitely. Like there's a part in that movie where this woman and her kids are trapped in this are trapped like near a subway or something, and they were trying to evacuate, but like Godzilla attacked Tokyo at that point, so there was nothing they could do. And this girl is just this woman's hugging her two kids, and she's like, "We're gonna go be with father now. We can all be together." And like when I was a kid, I'm like, "What's going on?" Because you're a kid, you're just seeing a monster movie. But as an adult, you're like, "Shit, no, they're about to die. They're fucked. They're dead. You know, it's over for them. They ain't making it to the sequel."
And the video show the aftermath of Godzilla's destruction at Tokyo before they move on to the sea to kill him with the oxygen destroyer in order to convince Dr. Shiozawa to use the oxygen destroyer.
Yep, the oxygen destroyer, which is here's what people don't understand: the entire plot behind Godzilla is that there are some weapons that are too powerful to use. That's the whole point. There's some weapons that are just too goddamn powerful. You cannot, they're not for Joe Blow average person. And they never, generally speaking, like the American film completely misses that. Even though, look, Perry Mason tries his best. I mean, that's not his name. His name's Raymond Burr, but he'll always be Perry Mason to me. Because anyone who watched those old black and white TV shows or the new case files of Perry Mason, but anyway, yeah, Perry Mason did the best he could, but let's keep it real. Like you watch a Godzilla film because you want to see the monster fuck shit up, because that's what Godzilla's really good at.
Yep.
So I mean, I guess the in that top corner of your little thing, that Godzilla, that was the puppet, that was the head puppet. That is the OG original keloid scarred, nuclear irradiated, just
the top right one.
I call him the Rick James Godzilla because he just came to Tokyo and like F your couch. Like there's no real reason for Godzilla to attack Tokyo, but it's there and F it, he's gonna smash it,
So I've heard that because he wanted revenge or something from another Godzilla YouTuber.
Like here's the thing, revenge. He was awoken by nuclear tests from America. He should have been attacking the U.S.
Yep.
I mean, but look, here's what people need to understand about the first Godzilla film, and I think it's hilarious. Well, it's not hilarious. It's really sad. they like Japan was under military rule for like 10 years after their surrender during like at the end of World War II when they surrendered. U.S. military rule. They were not allowed to make films about Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So this was their way of making a film about the horrors of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, while at the same time, like talking about like the results of the nuclear fallout and all the fucked up shit that happened.
Yep.
Also making a pretty good movie. And I still say, like, the original Godzilla film, 1954, it is a horror movie. And it stands up because you feel sorry for these people. You're like, God damn, you know, what did they do to deserve this destruction?
Even Godzilla himself was the victim to the Hiroshima bombings.
Yeah, the Hiroshima bombings woke him up. And then he basically destroys. He goes to Tokyo and he fucks up Tokyo. And then even he is a weapon of mass destruction is used to destroy the original Godzilla, Oxygen Destroyer. And Dr. Serizawa, the guy, well, I think that was his name, Dr. Serizawa.
Yep, yeah. That's his name.
Dr. Serizawa, like this guy, he basically destroys his notes and kills himself along with his weapon because he's like, this is too horrible for anyone to ever use again. Like this weapon, there's some weapons. So it really hammers home that thing. There are some weapons that are too horrible for people to use. And nuclear weapons, I mean, that's the big thing about the original Gojira is that nuclear weapons are too horrible to use, so don't use them. Or else. That's the that's the plot. It's like, really, it's a very simple thing to figure out. Don't use nuclear weapons, please, or else. Please don't do that.
Of course, the Americans had to cut out that message in order because there are
well, let's keep it real. America has always done tons of fucked up shit, and we don't like looking it in the face and saying we did something fucked up. Or actually, I should say we, because I would have been like, no. I mean, here's the thing. If you're going to drop an atomic bomb on someone, why just drop it? Why is it that America only bombs people who aren't white? Except for the Nazis. Except for the Nazis. We did bomb Nazis, but I mean, generally speaking, if you're not white, you have a higher chance of being bombed than a European country that has white people in it, and we have no problem bombing you then. But I find that a little ironic. But that's neither here nor there. So I guess
Star Wars more likely to bomb the Americans.
I mean, just basically just bomb. I mean, we'll bomb anything. But that's neither here nor there. So I guess it's time to talk about what is your favorite era of Godzilla films. Those early ones, 1954 to 75. Those newerish ones with 1984 to 1995. Or Millennium. I know some people like Millennium. You know, or you can go. I mean, you can go with the new films. Well, the new film. It's just that one. So, what's your favorite?
Let's see. I know that the original 1954 class is one of my favorites, but it also shares the same era where they have a lot of goofy films that I don't like much.
What, you didn't like? You didn't like Megalon, where Jaguar grabs Megalon from behind and Godzilla does that flying jump kick?
No.
Like twice.
No, that was silly. I mean,
hold on, which era was that again?
That was Godzilla. That was from the show era.
Yeah, that was Godzilla versus that wasn't Showa. That was in the 70s. That was Showa period. That was
Showa was in the 70s.
Yeah, Showa was in the 70s. That's where he did that. Or Godzilla versus Hedorah, where people in a disco get killed by nuclear wastes.
And Godzilla flying, defying the laws of physics.
Yeah, Godzilla flies away using his fire breath, which I'm like, look, man. Like normally people be like, that defies the laws of physics. But this is Godzilla. Godzilla has all types of amazing abilities that he's like Superman, and he just pulls out whatever he needs. Like I can be resurrected from getting hit by lightning, or I can like lava. Like in 1985, Godzilla is they lure Godzilla into a volcano to kill him, and yet later on in that same film series, Godzilla is fighting Batra. And he gets knocked into lava, and he comes back. He's like, "Fuck your lava." Yeah. So Godzilla just pulls out powers whenever he needs to. He's like Superman. He's like, "Yeah, I can fly now." Yeah, okay, sure, why not? You can fly, Godzilla, sure.
Okay.
So realistically speaking, his own way would have killed himself.
Look, man, it's Godzilla. That's all you need to know. Like. Here's what I'll say.
Did Godzilla actually propel himself with fire breath to fly?
Yeah, he beat up Hedorah, and then he grabbed Hedorah, and he used his fire breath like a rocket and flew to where they had this thing set up to kill Hedorah, and Godzilla used this thing to mess up Hedorah, and then he ripped out Hedorah's cores and used his fire breath in order to activate this thing again and destroy Hedorah's cores. Like Godzilla in the 70s was pretty damn smart when it came to like fighting his enemies. He'd use like tactics and shit and get help and stuff. It was it was kind of stupid, but seeing Godzilla, because basically like you could look at Godzilla versus Hedorah multiple ways. You could look at it, it's goofy, but there's a part where Hedorah basically puts toxic sludge into Godzilla's face. I'm like, that's fucked up, man. He tries to bury him in toxic sludge. I'm like, that's gotta be painful. Because we've established this toxic sludge can like melt people. Godzilla's just getting buried in it. I'm like, Godzilla in the 70s, they used that Godzilla suit so many times. It was so raggedy. It just busted up. Like Godzilla got that suit was just. Yeah,
it wasn't until 1973 where they gave him a new suit.
Finally, they gave him a new suit. He was like, "Yes, I finally."
Was the creature Ghidorah a three-headed dragon or something like that?
Yes, Ghidorah or Ghidorah. See, that's the wonderful thing about Godzilla is that there's so many different names for these characters, like Rodan, Radon, Ghidorah, Anguirus, and Anzilla. Anzilla, yes. Originally, Anguirus wasn't even called Anguirus; he was called Anzilla. Because he in the second movie, Godzilla, well, actually, the second movie was called Internationally Gigantus the Fire Monster, and it was Godzilla versus Anzilla, and then they changed it to Anguirus. So,
not very creative, but I get it. Just to make it easier for running through the tongue of the mouth.
Because Anguirus is a mutated, just like Godzilla is a mutated. Gorillosaurus?
It was an Ankylosaurus.
He was an Ankylosaurus. Yes, that was mutated. Even though I'm like, but he has sharp teeth, and Ankylosaurs were herbivores. I don't understand. That makes no.
Okay, okay. I'm seeing a picture of it right now, and it looks like a mutant. Okay, at first it looked like a mutated turtle. But with spikes on his back. Okay.
Yeah, he's an Ankylosaurus. Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, like even though the second movie is a little bit goofier than like the first Godzilla film, it actually when Godzilla fights Anguirus, actually like it's some vicious fighting. Like when he finally kills Anguirus, he basically like knocks him down and bends down and bites his throat, his neck, and just like Anguirus is struggling to survive and then just dies, and everyone's like, oh man. Like if the first Godzilla film is about the horrors of nuclear bombing and radiation, this film is about sacrifice and death. It's very, very rough stuff.
All right.
And Mr. Red Fox,
yeah,
which do you find more brutal for Anguirus? Getting his neck, getting killed by Godzilla by getting from a bite from his neck, or getting his jaws ripped apart from the false Godzilla?
Mechagodzilla?
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to say getting his neck bitten because he died. In that one, he just gets his jaw broken, but he lives to fight another day. like, I mean, I'd rather live to fight another day because you could heal up from that. But when you're dead, you're dead. And Anguirus did a.
No, so for a mutant monster I did not know that Anguirus actually survived getting its jaw ripped off, because that would be if it died, that would be a horrible death. But man,
well, it wasn't ripped off. It basically was a jawbreaker thing, but Anguirus managed to get away and heal up, and he called Godzilla because. Like Anguirus is fighting, like Mechagodzilla starts with Anguirus fighting. Everyone thinks it's Godzilla, but it's not Godzilla because Anguirus does this attack where like there's a part of Godzilla that's got this shining thing, this patch of metal, and like a guy notices it, and it turns out that it's Mechagodzilla. But you don't know at this time. You just think something else is going on. And then when Mechagodzilla shows up, it's like everyone keeps on thinking that in Power Rangers, the Dragon Zord was so badass. But we'd already seen the Dragon Zord. It was called Mechagodzilla. It's the same thing.
You know what about that? But man, having to just having your jaw healed even for that small period, it must have freaking hurt, man.
It really does.
Anguirus gets his ass kicked all the time. He like like that's his thing. He like Anguirus is like those wrestlers who just come up to show how strong the face is. And the face in this case is Godzilla, and Anguirus is the guy who always gets his ass kicked. That's what happened. He's like
Godzilla is the heel wrestler.
Well, okay, Godzilla started as a heel, but people liked him so much that he became the face. But even when Godzilla's a heel, Anguirus is getting his ass kicked. So he's just there to show how strong their heel or their face is, depending on the fall. Just Anguirus he's always getting his ass kicked. It's ridiculous. It's like, man, look, if I got my ass kicked as much as you, I'd sit my ass down,
But you gotta give him credit. It's the one determined mutated monster.
Yeah, it's like he tries really hard, but he's just never going. He's like Anguirus is like Charlie Brown. He tries really hard, but he's never going to succeed. It's just not going to happen.
He'll never kick the football.
Yeah, he's never going to get the girl. He's never going to kick the football. He's never going to make it. Okay, but I asked you guys earlier, like, what's your favorite Godzilla film? I have no idea. I like all the eras. Like I like Showa because of its goofiness. I like Heisei because like it has one of my favorite Godzilla films ever, which is Godzilla vs. Destroyer. And then you have Millennium, which I mean GMK. GMK, which is Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. You have Godzilla 2000. You've got. I think,
there was one. Oh, yeah. Keep going.
There's Godzilla Tokyo SOS.
The sequel to the Godzilla 3.
Yeah, and then there's GMK is Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. That's the one where Godzilla just fucking wrecks everybody. Like GMK Godzilla's like, man, that's the Godzilla that I thought of when I think of Godzilla. Just I'm King Ghidorah, fuck you, bitch. I'm Anguirus, fuck you too.
And that's also the manifestation of all the dead World War II soldiers.
Yes, yes, yes. Like there's a death. Like normally in Godzilla films, you're like, man, I feel sorry for these people. But there's a death in GMK where this guy kills a puppy. Where it's like, man, fuck you. You deserve everything that comes to you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I don't know you, but you can go fuck yourself. Yeah. GMK was fun. GMK.
Okay, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and there's one that's saying the Toho reboot, which began last year.
Yeah, that's Shin Godzilla, which is its own thing. Like shit. Like here's the thing, Shin Godzilla. We'll get into that in the next segment. we'll don't worry. We gonna get to Shin Godzilla. So now we have to talk about the American ones versus the Japanese ones.
Oh, hold on. I guess I haven't said mine yet. So
okay, go ahead. Yes, I completely go ahead.
I'm the one would be considered as a beginner, or novice one out of the three here. Yeah. So, and as much as I would like, now that I'm hearing all these in-depth stories from you guys, I really do want to watch the old ones, especially the Japanese ones. But for what I've seen so far, I guess I fall into the I think it's the TriStar Pictures, right?
Yeah. Or you can call him Satan. That's always good.
And the thing is, I actually have a love and hate relationship with particular movies.
Godzilla 98.
Yeah. Speaking about that one, I actually did enjoy it, but the redesign of Godzilla is, I hated it. I really do hate the design of this Godzilla. I'm like, man, could you go back to the old ones?
Yeah, I think we all, as Godzilla fans, hate that fucking Godzilla. We're like, we don't even consider that Godzilla to be Godzilla. We're like, we call it Zilla, like Toho does. They're like, yeah, Zilla. In Godzilla Final Wars in 2004, Zilla gets fucked up by Godzilla. It's hilarious. In Australia, yeah. Because fuck that.
It was one of the best moments from that movie.
Yeah. He tail whips Zilla and then into the Australia Opera House, and then he fire breathes on him, killing him. It's great. It's like fuck that. Fuck TriStar. Fuck TriStar and that shitty Godzilla.
I'm also hoping that Zilla makes an appearance in a new Godzilla fighting games as a joke character.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, sure.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I would like that would be, let it be the first monster that would get a never.
Just so that you can. It's how I feel about Jar Jar Binks in the Lego games, where I chose him just so that I could kill him multiple times. Misa, Misa, like literally, there's like in the Lego Star Wars Complete Collection, which was episodes 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the Wii and the PlayStation 2 and stuff like that. You could basically like get training characters to kill with your abilities. I would get the Emperor or Darth Vader and just force choke the shit out of Jar Jar Binks repeatedly. It was just
wow.
I hate Jar Jar Binks.
Hatred, not even me.
Everyone does.
Everyone hates Jar Jar Binks.
Not everyone.
Okay, fine then. 90% of Star Wars fans hate Jar Jar Binks.
You know what? I would even go as far to say maybe 99% of the Star Wars.
Because Jar Jar Binks just. We hate that guy.
Go ahead, say it.
We hate Jar Jar Binks.
I can't be mad.
Like every series has a character who just doesn't belong there. Like it makes they're in a movie. It makes the movie worse. Like Phantom Menace is not a bad movie. Jar Jar Binks makes it a bad movie. Like every movie has characters like that. Like Except it depends on how much importance you put on that character. Like Godzilla 98, the problem with Godzilla 98 is that they got Godzilla wrong. And you can't have a Godzilla film and get Godzilla wrong.
Wrong, yeah.
Yeah, first mistake. He gets killed by missiles.
Well, first mistake, yeah, he gets killed by the military. Godzilla never gets killed by the military. Okay? Basically, rule number one of a Godzilla film is this. The military ain't shit. They ain't doing shit. Because calling the military to fight Godzilla in a Godzilla film is like calling the military to fight a hurricane or an earthquake. The military cannot fight nature. They can evacuate people.
That's unless we have the technology to fight back nature.
Oh well, yeah. There's that new movie that came out where they bomb a hurricane with Gerard Butler as a scientist.
Yeah, the guys who made this abomination.
Well, I think it's from the guy who helped, who is Roland Emmerich's, used to be Roland Emmerich's partners for all his films. So yeah, I'm not surprised because that guy makes those types of movies. We're gonna bomb a hurricane away. What the fuck type of shit is this?
I've actually heard about that film, but when I heard the synopsis of it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to watch this.
The trailer is hilarious, though. They like literally they bomb it's like, man, it's kind of cloudy. They bomb a cloudy hurricane. I'm like, and I mean, really, like this movie's supposed to be taken seriously, but Gerard Butler as a scientist from NASA. Look, I like Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler is actually he went to school to be a lawyer in Scotland. He's really, yeah, but I mean, I could imagine Gerard Butler is a lot of things, but a scientist for NASA is not one of them. Gerard Butler as a Spartan, okay, fair enough. Gerard Butler as a hitman, okay, cool. Gerard Butler as a rough and tumble guy trying to get into Katherine Heigl's pants, yeah, we've seen this. Gerard Butler as a scientist, hell no.
I guess they couldn't get the right actor for portraying as a scientist.
First of all, you have an action movie where they're fighting the weather. That's ridiculous. What next? No, we've got to fight gravity. Oh,
oh yeah.
We're fighting the asteroids.
No, they already did that. It was called Apocalypse and
even Armageddon.
Yeah, Armageddon and that other movie with Morgan Freeman as the president. He's like, I'm just going to be perfectly honest. This is me, President Morgan Freeman. There's a giant asteroid heading for Earth, and only some of you are going to be able to get on the Ark. I'm going to be one of them because fuck you guys. I'm Morgan Freeman. But back to the topic at hand. Yeah, you're right. Godzilla 98 is... It could have been good. It could have been good.
It
could have been good.
Because of the original script that got scrapped because it would be quote unquote too expensive, yet the one we got was just as expensive as the original.
Okay. All right. If that was the case, then who screwed up here?
Well, it's a double screw up. It's Toho's screw up because originally the person who was supposed to be in charge of making an American Godzilla movie was the guy who made Godzilla versus Hedorah. Now, Godzilla versus Hedorah is not the best film, but it's still much better than Godzilla in 1998. But American filmmakers were like, no, we can't have someone in a suit. And so basically what happened is that the script that they wanted to do got thrown out, and Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin came together and they came up with this abomination. And they didn't want a guy in a suit, so they said, we need to make Godzilla sexy. That was the first mistake because Godzilla is not supposed to be sexy.
Are you freaking serious?
Godzilla's not sexy.
It looks hideous, not sexy.
Well, Godzilla's either supposed to look derpy, like unnecessarily derpy, But like when you see what his derpy ass can do, it's like, well, shit. He may be derpy, but I ain't fucking with. I ain't gonna tell it to him. Hideous, like the OG original keloid scarred Godzilla. You can go with kind of cute if you're going with like the late 70s kind of derpy Godzilla, who chills out on his island.
Or dirt menacing like the 1985 one.
Or straight up menacing like 1985, 84 Godzilla. But sexy is never an adjective used to describe Godzilla. Like I remember I was so excited about Godzilla 98 that they had an HBO, the making of behind the scenes thing, and they were like talking about the design of Godzilla before the movie came out to push that movie. And like this guy was like the guy who designed it, who's this French guy named Tatopoulos, that's his last name. He's like, yes, I wanted to make Godzilla sexy. I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be bad.
If this person actually, okay,
no, he said this. I'm not saying he literally. I remember this very clearly. I remember watching the making of Godzilla '98, and this dude literally fucking came up there and said, "I want to make Godzilla sexy." In a French accent, because he's French.
It's a good thing I missed that particular interview, because I guess I would have gotten pissed off.
Like this is how bad Godzilla '98 is. Godzilla '98 killed Matthew Broderick's career. It killed it. Matthew Broderick, one of Ferris Bueller, couldn't get out of this shit. Can you imagine that? Ferris Bueller could get out of anything, but he couldn't get out of this bad Godzilla film.
That's just
Godzilla. Why is Godzilla in New York? It's a she, and he's pregnant. Really, really, fucker. Really. I don't want that. No. Look, Godzilla for years has been considered either asexual or male. I do not want a hermaphroditic. Because even when they gave Godzilla a son, it's like he found this egg that had a baby Godzillasaurus in it, and that was mutated. And he's like, well, shit, there's only one of me. Now there's two. I got to help him out. That's his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He adopted his kid. It's not actually, but basically it's his kid, okay? I'm okay with that. You don't need to have Godzilla actually biologically have kids. Please don't. Because that's just weird.
At least in that movie, we didn't see, or at least I didn't see actually the giving of birth thing. But yeah, the second film that I've seen of Godzilla was the Legendary Pictures, which is. Yeah, the 2014 Godzilla film.
Oh yeah.
This one, I have a different type of love and hate relationship with this one. It's basically the opposite of the 88 film.
You love this Godzilla when you see him.
Yeah. When I see
you only see him like for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was really pissed about that, and I understand what they were going for, but I was like, and you know what? I would have given them a pass if I couldn't even see Godzilla. But for the most part, how that movie was filmed, or especially when it's nighttime or in dark places, it was hard to see. You couldn't even see the actors doing something, or maybe because I have I'm using a telly down here that it's basically hard. It basically makes it hard to see pictures that are very dark. Either it's that, or the film itself was really dark. So yeah, that was something that really made me not like, or it made it hard for me to actually enjoy that film.
The 2014 movie split the Godzilla fan base in half. They either loved or hate, depending on how depending on how much screen time Godzilla had. Though my suspicion is that the people who hated how little screen time Godzilla had were those who never saw any of the previous Godzilla movies, where he had lesser screen time than in this movie.
Yeah. Like, here's the way I feel about Godzilla 2014. Godzilla 2014 was actually a throwback to the late 60s, early 70s Godzilla. That was like, he's not quite a good guy, but he's gonna fight the evil monsters Godzilla.
Yeah,
and I actually like that.
I actually like that too.
Yeah, I like that Godzilla. And plus, this Godzilla, in my opinion, had the most badass moment of the,
that ending fight scene.
Modern Godzilla's, because, yeah, he did, like, here's the thing. Shin Godzilla's cool and all, but that kiss of death trumped anything Shin Godzilla did, because the kiss of death was like Godzilla basically saying, okay, us seeing Godzilla being a smart fighter and not just kind of reacting, like, it was planned. He's like, these things seem to be immune to my atomic fire breath. I'm old, I'm tired, I'm outside of water, so it's like, it's hard for me to move. But this bitch, I'm gonna kill her. He grabs her. He's like, so you're invincible.
Well, it's been 10 years since his last movie, so of course he looks old and tired.
Well, I mean, if you watch King Kong and Skull Island and some of the other things, you find out that the Godzilla that we saw in that movie, that is a very old, very, very, like, he's old, he's tired, he's huge, he's an aquatic creature. Of course he's gonna be slow. You can see parts of that movie when he's fighting where he just gets tired and he takes a deep breath. He's like, fuck, I'm too old for this shit. Which I appreciate.
I've seen a few news articles criticizing Godzilla being too fat in this movie.
Well, if they think he's too fat, they need to go watch Shin Godzilla, because that Godzilla is even bigger than this one.
Yeah, but he's also skinny in that movie.
Well, he's skinny up top, but those thighs, son, those thighs.
Yep, extra thick.
Yeah, those thighs are not. Those thighs are not thin, man. Those thighs are.
Now I got to see this.
Gigantoid. I mean, he is humongous.
Oh, this is Shin Godzilla. Okay.
Yeah, once you see Shin Godzilla, you're like, okay, the whole Godzilla 2014 is too big. Yeah, like hell.
I can't get a better shot of its thigh, but
he is gigantic.
He also looks like a zombie in this movie because of all the stars.
And Shin Godzilla.
You know what? You're kind of right. At least should I call it skin or scale?
I can't go that far. Yeah. He's kind of. I wouldn't say he looks like a zombie. I would say that when he has his final, thus far, final transformation, he looks like a land shark. He's got that weird stare where he's not really reacting to anything that's going on around him. It's kind of weird.
Yes, I guess you can say it kind of look like a zombie because it has a lots of lines.
Yeah, it has that weird stare. If you watch Shin Godzilla,
it also got some reddish color in the crevice, which.
Well, if you ever get a chance to watch Shin Godzilla, Shin Godzilla is designed differently from any other previous Godzilla, and so especially the face, because
that is true. That is true.
The way they made Godzilla was they used the face that they used characteristics from a dog. So when you look at Godzilla's face, like he has certain features that you can empathize with because he has features like from a dog's face. This Godzilla does not have that. It's very like, I want to say almost reptilian or like a fish. Like kind of a blank stare that fish have. The only fish that I've ever seen that kind of can do a facial expression are puffer fish.
Yes, I can see that.
A puffer fish actually kind of have, like, if you've ever had a chance to go and like watch puffer fish, especially people who have aquariums of them, like puffer fish, you can actually interact with them. They actually almost have facial expressions. It's weird.
I try to avoid interacting with pufferfish because I know they're poisonous.
Yes, they are incredibly poisonous. But if you're okay, because I have a friend who has one of those fish tanks where he has pufferfish, and they have he's interacted enough with them where they can be handled and they don't puff up and feel to get defensive. And they're like puppies, really. You give them food, they follow your hand. You can reach in and pet them and scratch them, and they're into it. It's weird, and they have that weird look on their face, like they're smiling. But I mean, considering that pufferfish are poisonous, of course they can afford to be a little like, yeah, no one's gonna fuck with me. I'm poisonous. So and they have that weird look on their face, like they're smiling about something, which they are. It's like, I'm poisonous. Anyone fucks with me, they die. You want to pet me? Go ahead. But yeah, Gojira is it's a pretty great series. I like it. It's very good. It's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, I should also mention that just like the 2014 movie, Shin Godzilla also split the fan base because of all of the political nonsense, unlike the 2014 version.
That's weird because, I mean, basically that was the only thing you could really do for Shin Godzilla was show how slow, basically because everyone initially is trying to cover their ass and not do what needs to be done in order to deal with the issue. It's basically a commentary on the Fukushima disaster in Japan.
Yeah, it's just from the American side of the fan base because they don't like the political talk in a Godzilla movie. They just want to see Godzilla in action, and that's it.
Yeah, but I mean okay, this was a new Godzilla film, and they didn't have Godzilla fighting another monster. So there was really that was the only angle they could really do, was having how basically political incompetence and people trying to cover their ass exacerbates the problem. Because there's 3 times in this film where if the government hadn't been, oh, what if people get angry? What if we make people upset? And had taken care of the issue, they could have dealt with Godzilla when he was still derpy as shit. But no. There's a scene, literally, these dudes have these helicopters, these heavily armed gunship helicopters. They could have shot him and killed him. No, we can't. People might get angry.
Or there's innocent civilians on the way out of the way.
This old lady. I mean, I felt sorry for the old lady. I didn't want anything to happen to her, but goddamn, this is a giant, soon-to-be fire-breathing monster. I'm sorry, Granny. You got to get the fuck. I'm sorry. It's for 6 million other people. I choose the 6 million other people over you and your grandkid. I'm sorry, but we'll do a memorial for you. We'll remember you. It'll be awesome.
The political aspect was why I love this movie.
Yeah. Plus, there's just a scene where this guy loses his shit. They're like, Godzilla's doing this. I know, I get it. God damn it, fuck. Basically, he just yells like, I know, this shit's going down. Fuck, shit got real. Stop fucking with me. Okay, let's get back to work. He's like, okay, let's get back to work. It's a very Japanese film. Shin Godzilla is a very Japanese film. I will admit that. Okay, it's very Japanese.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
And I'm okay
so
with
Japanese that the American audience will not understand.
Well, the American audience that people who don't want to open up their mind and do something different won't understand. They'll be like, no, this Godzilla film isn't doing it for me because it doesn't have pew pew pew. I mean,
Yeah,
but
we've been spoiled by action films these days. Actually, the way American action films are made.
well, I mean, I won't say that the political thing doesn't work because, like, you had the movie Captain America: Civil War, not Civil War, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and that's a spy film. And it deals with a lot of political type stuff, and it works. Like, you can follow what's going on. I think the reason is because the reason some of the Godzilla fans didn't like Shin Godzilla were just pretty much like superficial. They're like, well, I don't like how this Godzilla looks, or I don't like superficial things. I don't like how this Godzilla does his fire breath. There's no monster. I don't like how they defeat the monster, and I can understand that because not every Godzilla film is everyone's favorite. Like, I fucking hate King Kong versus Godzilla. That's one of those films I do not like.
Yeah, that movie is also terrible. And at least it's getting remade. At least I'm looking forward to the remake of King Kong versus Godzilla.
Hopefully it'll be better. Yeah.
Let's hope with the right with the right key personnel.
Well, I mean, like I said, Kong Skull Island was the King Kong film that Peter Jackson's King Kong film should have been, but instead, like King Kong's Peter Jackson film just was like, I mean, Peter Jackson's King Kong film was just like the wrong actors casting the wrong things. It's like Adrian Brody, Jack Black. I'm like, look, Jack Black he's actually a good comedic actor, but why the fuck would you put him in a King Kong movie?
It's a serious movie.
'Twas beauty that killed the beast. And sit your ass.
I don't know. People thought Michael Keaton wouldn't be a good Batman movie for the Tim Burton version, but look what happened. He was a very good Batman.
Yeah, but I mean, Michael Keaton had done some serious roles before then, where he had shown that he could show a character that had some depth and range. Jack Black has pretty much throughout his entire career played like, it wouldn't have been out of place for him in King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong, to go Shabazooey, hoo-yah! I would have been like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I was waiting for something like that. I was waiting for something like that in that film. Never happened.
But then you have something that he was good in, like he was good in Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're just a fat panda. I'm Mr. Panda. The whooshy finger hold. Yes, you know this move, don't you? It's the whooshy finger hold. But I mean, like, I'm just saying that, like, Godzilla 2016, Shin Godzilla, I like it. It's a good film. It's not my, like, here's the thing about Toho. When America makes a Godzilla film and it resonates with a crowd, Toho brings back Godzilla, the Japanese, the real Godzilla, and they normally, like, sometimes they tack too hard to the opposite direction and sometimes it makes sense. Like, Godzilla 98 was shit, so they did Godzilla 99, which was, aka in America, released Godzilla 2000. Yeah, Godzilla 2000. Godzilla 2000 is badass as fuck. Okay.
It had my brother's favorite kaiju.
Yeah, he basically just wrecks everybody's shit. Like, he fights Mega Gyrus, he fights Mecha Godzilla, he fights King Ghidorah, Baragon, Anguirus, and Mothra. He kills all of them. He kills all of them. Like, it's like, fuck you, bitch. I'm Godzilla, king of the monsters. And then it ends with Godzilla versus Godzilla All Monsters Attack, which is Final Wars, which is like, it's basically a remake of Godzilla
Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah, Destroy All Monsters. And Final Wars is just Godzilla fights everybody and kicks everybody's ass.
I'm actually seeing
everybody's ass.
I'm actually seeing the poster of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, and that one, Godzilla,
they use the bones of the original Godzilla to create Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, yeah, and like Mothra's like, well, you know, like you can't use the bones of the old Godzilla to fight the new Godzilla. That's desecrating the dead. And then they had Godzilla fight Mechagodzilla. They called Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, where Mechagodzilla defeats Godzilla, or at least he beats Godzilla and drives him away from Tokyo. He doesn't kill him, which is some bullshit.
One of the Godzilla bones has a soul of its own.
Yeah, it had the soul of the old Godzilla, so when it hears the new Godzilla roar, it thinks it's a Godzilla and starts wrecking shit. Which I'm like, why would you?
It's basically a live action.
Well, because I can.
Basically, yeah. But yeah,
without the respect. Yeah,
but
at least there's no father figure telling someone to get in the robot,
or a father figure having sex with a 12-year-old girl.
Oh gosh! Okay.
That's Evangelion. Look, man, that's Evangelion. That happens in Evangelion. That's one of the reasons I don't like Evangelion. I'm like, fuck this cartoon. I mean, this anime. I'm done. Nope. I don't care what the age of consent is in Japan. I do not want to see a 40-something-year-old man hooking up
with a 14-year-old kid.
No, she was 12. She wasn't 15. She's 12.
And that was even before that was even under the age of consent. But yeah, I digress.
That is disgusting. That is.
Actually, the age of consent is 16 for women and 18 for men.
Yeah, like I said, that's kind of like, yeah, I can't. And they try to explain it away in Evangelion. Well, yeah, she has the soul of his wife. Fuck you. No.
Really?
No. No. Why do you think the main character in Evangelion is disgusted with his father? Because he walks in on him doing that shit. He's like, this dirty motherfucker. Like, even he's like, you dirty, rotten son of a bitch.
Yes, I was lucky enough to miss that specific one.
Well, I mean, it's not explicit. You don't find that till after the fact, but like you put the clues together, it's pretty easy to,
And they say the Evangelion is full of symbolism.
No, it can be symbolism, but a dude trying to have sex with a 12-year-old, ew. That's molestation. There's no symbolism about that. That's why I was kind of like. That's one of the reasons I'm kind of like, because he's the same guy who directed Shin Godzilla. I'm like,
why?
So, are we gonna move on to talk about the anime?
Yes, please.
Sure. Let's talk about the new anime, Godzilla Monster Planet. The general plot, it's coming to Netflix, so if you have Netflix or other means, you can get it relatively easily when it comes out. But basically, the plot is this. Humanity's getting its ass kicked by Godzilla, so they say, fuck you, we're leaving Earth. And they go to another planet. They discover that the planet is
uninhabitable.
It's uninhabitable, so they decide to go back to Earth. Unfortunately, due to time dilation effects, it's 20,000 years. It takes them 20,000 years to get back to Earth. And when they get there, they discover that Earth is not the Earth they left. It's been taken over by kaiju. And Godzilla is apparently, thank God they're not using the Shin Godzilla model for this. This actually looks more like a traditional Godzilla, thank God.
It looks more like the 2014 one.
Well, but 2014 Godzilla was more traditional. He was more in the vein of like old school, slow plotting Godzilla. Because Shin Godzilla, design-wise, I do not like how he does fire breath. It is not. That's rough. That is rough, bro.
Plus, in this movie, Godzilla's a plant. At least that's what I'm doing.
He could. Like everyone's doing their own little idea of what Godzilla is. I mean, I don't. You know, I mean, I prefer the old school. He's a dinosaur that was irradiated, and now he's mutated into a gigantic, you know, fire-breathing. Like God, basically in my mind, Godzilla is the closest thing we'll ever get to a dragon done well on the big screen. Godzilla is basically a dragon. Okay.
Yeah, basically that. Well, yeah, without the wings.
Except he doesn't fly. Normally, normally he does not fly. That's his only thing. But he has dragon-like qualities. Godzilla doesn't care what you do as long as you don't fuck with his territory, his food source, or his offspring. Okay, as long as you don't do any of those three things, Godzilla does not care. Like when I say his territory, if another monster comes to Earth, starts some shit, Godzilla will fight that monster. His food source. If you start fucking with radiation, or in Godzilla's it's plasma in the 2000 series, the Millennium Godzilla series, he'll fight you over that. And his kid, any of the Godzilla iterations, if you mess with Godzilla, with the son of Godzilla, you're dead. Why even
why bother?
Why you do that? You're asking to die. That's just how it is. So I don't know what they're going to do with the Godzilla anime. I can't believe they just decided now to make a Godzilla anime, because you think it would have been right to make it.
I've been waiting for a long time for Japan to make a Godzilla anime.
Yep.
Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure why it took so long. Because
Godzilla has made some anime cameos in other anime shows.
Yeah, I mean he's even been in Looney Tunes, but
oh yes,
yeah,
how can I forget that?
And in the 90s, he had his own children's anime.
Yeah, yeah.
Atsuki.
And I mean that was the 70s with Hanna-Barbera, but Hanna-Barbera made cartoons about everything. They made the Fantastic Four cartoon, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends cartoon. What else? Space Ghost, Birdman, Huckleberry Hound, Snagglepuss, Top Cat,
Wacky Races.
Yeah, Wacky Races. I mean, Hanna-Barbera made a lot of cartoons, and I have to say that the Godzilla one they made, in my opinion, was fucking terrible. Fuck Godzuki. Fuck him. Fuck him. The only good thing about Godzilla the animated series was that it gave us a black guy who wasn't like dying for everyone else. Brack. That's about it. With afro and glasses.
An actual recurring character. Yeah.
He was one of the main characters.
Did you also know that Godzilla also fought the Avengers in the comics?
Yes, he did. He fought the Avengers and won because they couldn't beat him. Like, why? Why would you even try to fight Godzilla? You can't fight Godzilla.
Oh, that's the thing. They didn't know. So
and the only way for him to leave was politely asking him to leave.
Yeah. This Japanese dude goes up. He's like, "I am the cultural appropriation. Gojira, will you please leave New York City? Arigato." The guy's just like, "Sure." You ask nicely, I just came here for the pizza any damn way. I just wanted I just wanted a slice. but yeah, it was. I mean, you know, like. I like Godzilla. Godzilla is one of my favorite movie monsters. 29 films in. You know, this podcast, this Sci-Fi Power Hour, is dedicated to the man who played Godzilla for years and years and years, at least through the Showa era. Haruo Nakajima.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he passed away. He was 88, I believe, or 80. Here, let me check it. Let me look it up because I don't want to get people's information incorrect. It is Haruo Nakajima, and he was 88. Yeah, he was 88 years old.
I expected him to be in his 90s by then.
Well, he was a very young man when he like his first movie role was was in 1933 where he played the Japanese King Kong, like in the suit.
Really?
Yes. He was a very young man and he played the Japanese King Kong. That film never came out. Like the prints were destroyed because film preservation is a bitch. But
no.
All we have are just like stills and a few prints from like copies, but we've never seen the full film. But it's like literally he's the guy who plays the Japanese King Kong, so it's fairly interesting.
So he's played both iconic monsters.
Yes, he's played the Japanese King Kong that was a ripoff of the American King Kong. And he also played the American, he played the Gojira, the king of all monsters, the monster that curb stomps King Kong, that has dwarfed King Kong's filmability, bankability, profitability, revenue generation ability. I mean, Godzilla's the king of all monsters. That's all I'm saying. He's the king. He's the king. And you can't. Wow. It's good to be king. That's all I have to say.
Man, this dude was born exactly on the first of January.
Yeah, but I mean, New Year's doesn't have the same.
Doesn't have the same feeling as in Japan. May you rest in peace, man.
He will be missed.
Yeah, he's awesome. I like him. But before we wrap things up, anyone have any badass cool things they want to talk about Godzilla before we wrap things up? Anything.
Did you know that there was going to be a Godzilla versus Batman movie in the 60s?
Yeah, I heard about that, and it was scrapped. Thank God. Because I don't want these Batman fanboys to get mad when their favorite character gets destroyed by the King of Monsters. That'd be, I don't want to see that. It needs to be like, if there's a 1% chance that he's gonna destroy, he's totally gonna destroy this city, and there's nothing you can do about it, Batman.
But didn't the script mention Batman winning?
I don't know, man. I don't. Well, okay. I would let it go if they were using like the Batman from the 60s, because that Batman was hilarious. Yeah. I like that Batman.
They're using the Adam West Batman for this.
Yeah, if it was Adam West, I would have been cool with it. But if they did it now and they had Batfleck, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, fuck him. Godzilla, destroy Gotham City. I would like to see that. What's Batman gonna do? I shot him with missiles. There's no kryptonite, so I can't shoot Godzilla with kryptonite.
Why did you say his name?
Shut down the nuclear power plants.
He'd shoot him with kryptonite. He shoot Godzilla with kryptonite, not realizing that kryptonite's radioactive and Godzilla feeds off of radiation. You're only making him stronger, dumbass.
If he knew that you wouldn't know until he tried. That makes it even worse.
I'm the Batman. You don't come to my city. I don't think he gives a shit, Bruce. I mean, Batman, it's a gigantic fire-breathing monster that's radioactive. What are you going to do, dude? What are you going to do? And even if you do defeat Godzilla, you've been poisoned with radiation. You've got 6 months to live, bitch. Batman losing his hair, Batman in a bed with a bag attached with an ostomy bag, and peeing through a straw. But that got a little dark. I'm sorry, but yeah.
You always got killed by one of the members of the Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, that got a little dark, but we are talking about Batfleck, the DC Cinematic Universe. It's already dark, so I think that would already kind of fit in, at least before Zack Snyder left. But that's neither here nor there. So that's your interesting thing. You got something interesting you want to say, Triple M, about Gojira?
Yeah, I got interesting to say, although mine is not a very good one. Ladies and gentlemen,
okay, let me brace myself. Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. To the people who haven't seen this movie yet, don't even try to see this movie. And I'm talking about Cloverfield. It's just bad, really, at least in my taste. So you would
an original movie.
You would think that at first, and maybe this is just me, as a Godzilla fan, you would think that it was kind of an homage to it, but man, not even close. I was the fool in this. I was naive, so yeah, I'll take that out.
You're gonna take that L.
Yes.
Take that L. Swallow it. It's yours. It's all yours. So why do you thought Cloverfield was an homage to Godzilla, and you found out that it wasn't anything like it? Because
at the time, well, the first time I saw that trailer, I was like, I didn't care to get information or anything of it. So yeah, I just watched it on a whim, and then I was quite disappointed, especially the whole that shaky cam thing. New thing. Well, it's a new thing, yes, but does it get old and annoying really fast?
Well, the idea of a film trying to show the idea of using like people with a handheld camera or a camera phone videoing an attack by a giant monster is actually pretty cool. And if J.J. Abrams had split it between, like, you're following these people on the ground who are doing that, and then you maybe have someone who's seeing what's happening from, a better view.
From afar, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe a helicopter following what's going on. That would have been awesome, but this is J.J. Abrams, and you guys know how I feel about J.J. Abrams. So, or J-Brams, as I call him.
Calls Juju Abrams.
No, I call him J.J. Abrams. I call him J-Brams because, or the guy who kills franchises, because he basically, like, he makes remakes that aren't remakes. He makes the same film, but he just
no, you know what you need to call him. He is the Jabrams, because he jabs or stabs at franchises.
No, I call him the man who kills franchises, because basically, like, he doesn't like J.J. Abrams doesn't make new films. He just takes old shit and switches out some of the characters, and people act like it's new. Like, it's like, oh man, this is new. No, it's the same shit it was before, but slightly different.
For the uninitiated,
Do you find him worse than Michael Bay?
He's better. No, J.J. Abrams. Here's the thing. J-Brams will make a better. He's a technically more competent director than Michael Bay. Like, I haven't watched a Transformers film in a theater for the last 3 movies. Like, I saw the first Transformers film in the theater, the second Transformers film in the theater. I did not watch.
Never again.
I did not watch the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th. I have not watched any of those other films in the theater. Why? Because Michael Bay's not making the films I want to see. Like, I don't like his vision of the Transformers, and apparently no one else does, because that 5th one bombed. but Michael.
If it's doing well in China.
No, it didn't even do well in China. Oh, as a beside, this has nothing to do with Godzilla, but I think it's worth talking about. People need to stop thinking that when studios say, well, it generated this much revenue overseas, that they're getting all that money. Here's what you need to understand.
Because you know what? Now that you bring up
but didn't Pacific Rim get a sequel because the first one was saved by the Chinese box office?
Yeah, because the Chinese box office did relatively okay. But what I'm saying is that when you look at overseas revenue generated, you have to cut that in half. Because in reality, here in America, movie theaters get shafted by the studios. Like, their movie theaters are only getting like 25% of the ticket price. So if you're paying $6 for your ticket, the movie theater is only getting like $1.82 of that money. Okay, but in Europe and China, if a movie generates $300 million overseas, like total, really the studio is only getting like 100 million of that. Like they aren't getting all that money. It has to go to their overseas partners and in the movie theaters. So basically, if a movie costs 300 million to make here in America, like once marketing and everything was said and done, and it made 65 million here and 265 million in overseas, it still was a flop. That people don't understand that. They think, well, it did well in China. That's what happened to Transformers 5. That shitty movie where apparently Transformers helped free the slaves. They helped out Harry Tubman. Motherfucker. See, this is why I don't like Michael Bay, because the man is just a cancer on the film industry. He's a damn cancer.
Yeah. Speaking about Michael Bay, now for some reason, now I'm kind of getting scared that someone would give Michael Bay to adapt Godzilla.
No,
Please don't.
I don't want to see that.
I don't want my Godzilla movie to be riddled by sexual jokes.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the problem with Michael Bay. Here's the problem with Michael Bay. It's not sexual jokes are bad. It's that Michael Bay is not funny.
Yeah.
Michael Bay is not funny. Michael Bay is the guy who thinks he's funny, but he isn't. He's absolutely not funny.
But yeah, well, get out of that's yeah.
In his head, he thinks he's funny.
Yeah, forgive me for bringing that scary thought, but now I'm just yeah.
That would be horrific.
I wouldn't be surprised if that would happen, but yeah, I'm just gonna brace myself for it. But yeah, moving on.
No, that would be horrific. Michael Bay directing a Godzilla. That'd be Godzilla, and it would have Megan Fox in it, and half the movie would be shots where he's trying to shove his camera up Megan Fox's patootie.
Yeah.
Or show
I know Patootie's not really.
Godzilla.
I know Godzilla's not really, and like, what does that have to do with Godzilla as a character? I don't know, but
I don't know.
He wants to see her patootie. He's gonna see her patootie.
But yeah. Anyways, yeah, people go watch Cloverfield. That's all.
Cloverfield is terrible. It's just not. It's not. It's supposed to be on like J.J. Abrams' take on an American Godzilla film, but it's shitty, which is the problem. It's not very good.
Yeah.
It's just not very good. It's not very good.
And some people didn't like the design of the monster.
The Cloverfield monster was kind of annoying. It wasn't like everyone's like, "Oh man, Cloverfield was so awesome." Cloverfield was just so badass. It's like Godzilla. No, Godzilla would fuck up Cloverfield. I'm sorry.
That's true. I can see that.
He would fuck.
And when you saw the Mutos from the 2014 movie, did they remind you of the Cloverfield monster by any chance?
Not really. You know what they reminded me of? You want to know what the Cloverfield monster reminded me of? The Mutos. The Mutos reminded me of basically kind of like an Americanized version of Mothra.
Of Gigan?
No, Mothra.
No, Mothra.
They reminded me of an Americanized version of Mothra, basically. But it's not. But it's like they were like, well, shit. We need to have Godzilla fighting a monster because that's what people want to see. Godzilla fighting a monster. I know this is kind of going off topic a little bit, but in my opinion, I think the problem with the 2014 movie, aside from Godzilla's only like 20 minutes in it, and like there's a lot of action you want to see, and they didn't want to show it because they were trying to. Part of it was that they were trying to stay under budget, and part of it is because you know, they were trying to build up the suspense. But I think that they should have let Kick-Ass and his wife die. Kick-Ass and his wife should have died.
Have Walter White live.
Yeah, let Walter White live. Like monsters have like Kick-Ass and his wife should have died from the Mutos. So Walter White has had his wife, his kid, his daughter-in-law all killed by these monsters. Then have him join, like him have to take care of his kid, of his grandson, while also like researching these monsters. And I think that would have been a better film. Because really, like, Bryan Cranston really added gravitas to the character, along with the Japanese guy whose name I completely forgot, even though I've seen him in multiple movies and know his name.
Ken Watanabe.
Yeah, Ken Watanabe. Yeah.
Well, I read in those behind the scenes books that they were originally wanted to keep Bryan Cranston's character alive throughout the whole movie, but they couldn't make it work, so they had to kill him off.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would have preferred to have Kick-Ass and the older Olsen twin. I know she's not really an Olsen twin, but I call her the other Olsen twin. If she had died, and it would have been like Godzilla versus it would have been like this guy, because like if you have the military in a Godzilla film, what the fuck are they gonna do against gigantic fire-breathing monsters? Seriously, what? Like, you're about as useful as a smart screen on a cow. Like, you know, like, what's the point? You know?
My gosh.
Yeah,
well, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the sun was supposedly the worst part of the movie. It's undeniable.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Kick-Ass. Aaron Taylor. His name is Aaron Taylor Johnson or something like that. But Kick-Ass was the worst part of that movie because he was like, "You're useless. You have no partner." Even like literally the military, and because like we already saw in that movie, like the military being involved was contrived and a waste of time. Like, it was like, you have no reason to be here. You are just wasting people's time. This, like, Godzilla films, the military exists in Godzilla films to show how powerful Godzilla is. They're there to show how badass the monsters are. They are not there to be effective. I'm sorry. I know people are going to get mad. But I'm in the military. Look, I don't think, if Godzilla actually exists, do you honestly think, like, they would always be like, well, we can bomb it. Go ahead, bomb Godzilla. See how it works. You're only pissing him off. And we all know Godzilla's like a dragon. You make him angry, he gets stronger.
Also,
even Shin Godzilla got that down. They dropped bunker busters on him. He evolved to attack aerial enemies on the fly. He's
Plus,
that.
While in the background they play a really sad song about his struggles living. I think it was called "Who Will Know Tragedy."
Yeah, Who Will Know was good, but my favorite song from Shin Godzilla is "Persecution of the Masses."
No wonder.
Where he just starts destroying the city. He's like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. I have had about enough. He has a Sam Jackson moment. I have had enough of these motherfucking stay on this motherfucking plane. Except he said, I've had enough of these motherfucking people on this motherfucking island. he goes through population control. But yeah, I look forward to seeing who the next
human main character is for the sequel.
No, because I think
the next producer director of this.
I think they learned their lesson. I think the next main character of the new film is not going to be these people. It's going to be someone else. I don't know who, but it's not going to be these people.
And I could say that the sequel is going to be more like a remake of the first movie that King Ghidorah first appeared in.
You mean Godzilla versus the Monster X? I think it was called Godzilla versus Monster X.
No, it was Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. That Monster Zero was the sequel.
Oh, you're right. But yeah,
I hope that would be the case.
But yes, I would love that. Gojira versus, I mean, basically, Godzilla King of the Monsters is going to show, like, Gareth Edwards. I like Gareth Edwards. He is so good at building up the tension, for you to wait for a payoff. It's like, I can't stand it, and then when you get the payoff, it's so good. You know, you had that in Rogue One, where you knew Darth Vader was going to come in there and show you what he was made of. And when you finally got it, the payoff was so worth the wait. You know, it's like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, goddamn. Yeah, I need a cigarette. That's how it felt.
Darth Vader wasn't the main focus of Rogue One, yet he stole the movie.
Well, because he knew he had to be there. Because Rogue One, the entire point of Rogue One was how the rebels got the plans to the Death Star. That was it. And you knew that Darth Vader was going to be there because at the beginning of A New Hope, Darth Vader has been chasing these people. Like, he goes to Princess Leia, he's like, you are a liar and a traitor. We know you have the plans. And it's like, you know, he's kind of real forceful about the shit. And now we know why.
And yet, Rogue One got criticized for lack of Darth Vader as well as lack of character development. The same reason on Skull Island.
Well, here's what I'll say. Rogue One, you weren't going to get, because, like, here's the thing. We already knew that those characters were going to die in Rogue One. We learned from A New Hope. They said a lot of people died to get us these plans. Yeah, you weren't going to make it out of that shit alive. You know? So, I mean, what's the use of having character development for characters who are going to die? And in my opinion, the most interesting character in Rogue One was the robot. I mean, the android.
I thought it was the blind guy.
No, to me, it was the android, because it's like, okay, you have this android who clearly is almost like a remnant of the Clone Wars with the droid army. Like, he's very, like, there's a scene in Rogue One where the chick gives this droid a gun. He's like, wow, you really trust me? Because everyone knows about the droid army in the Clone Wars, and you should never give guns to a droid.
Right.
And he's actually, like, I thought he was a very interesting character. I wouldn't mind seeing more stuff about him, not in a movie, but like maybe comics or a cartoon or something. But you know, I mean, the blind guy was a guy who was at the temple on Jeddah, the Jedi temple on Jeddah, who, like, they had their crystals stolen, so he didn't have a job anymore. So it's like, well, shit, I'll fight the Empire. Sure, why not? You know, like, got to do something. I'm blind. I got to do something.
also his chanting, "I am one with the Force. The Force is with me."
Yeah, I mean, that's basically his thing. Like, there were a lot of kind of interesting characters, but at the end of the day,
they all had to die for continuity's sake.
Yeah, they had to die. They weren't going to come. They weren't going to get out of it. They had to die. You know, they had to. No one was supposed to make it out of there alive. Okay,
yeah, I mean, the original ending of Rogue One, they had some of them lived, but they had to reshoot to make them all dead.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes more sense for them all to die. It also makes sense for the rebellion to lose a lot of their fleet, but for there to be a thing that unifies the rebellion, you had to have that moment. And I have to say, Gareth Edwards, much better director than J.J. Abrams because Rogue One is a better film than The Force Awakens. Yeah, I said it. I said it.
Again, I was, you know what? When I finally got the chance to see that film, I think I'll say it too.
You're gonna get some hate comments from Red Letter Media fans or Chris Stuckman fans for saying that.
I don't care.
I don't care either.
I don't give a shit. Here's why I'll say it's better. Okay, for one thing, Rogue One is its own film. It's not a rehash of A New Hope. Okay, it's really not. Like, you don't believe me? Okay, Rey is Luke Skywalker. Finn is
yeah,
her.
I'm well aware that The Force Awakens is A New Hope 2.0.
It's the same film. Yeah. No, I wasn't saying you. I mean our viewers who watch this in the future. Yeah, like Finn is basically like Finn and Rey are Luke Skywalker split in half, right? Like Rey is the Jedi part of Luke Skywalker, like the Force sensitive person. Finn is the country boy who just wants to, do something different, right? And then Han Solo is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Chewie is the same character he's always been. He's Chewie, the Chewbacca, the badass. Then you've got
that piece of shit. Darth Vader 2.0.
Yeah, you've got Baby Vader. You've got Baby Vader, wannabe Darth Vader, who isn't, but really wants to be Darth Vader. You've got Snoke, who's the new Emperor. You've got the new Empire. You've got a fucking Death Star. Like even Harrison Ford knows it's some bullshit. It's another Death Star, right? Come on, it's another Death Star. Even he knows it's some bullshit. So what I'm saying. And here's the thing: you see Han Solo go. It's like, well, we've got to disable the core so that the shields can go down, so that we can escape. Okay, so then they're like, he goes into the thing. They're placing charges. He meets Darth Vader, and he's killed by Darth Vader. Man, fuck you, Abrams. I'm sorry. Look, there are so many awesome new things new stories that could be told in the Star Wars universe. Why the fuck are you telling us A New Hope again? And here's the thing. It's not as good as the original. So fuck off. Okay?
I don't think you might not like The Last Jedi either, because it sounds more and more like a rehash.
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, it's Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, I'm not going to watch it. Yeah,
You've got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, it's Empire. They're like they meet on this in this gambling resort. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you doing an Empire Strikes Back again? Yes, they are. I mean, say whatever you want to about the prequels. At least they were different.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, yeah. I'll give you that much. It wasn't the same shit all over again.
I mean, couldn't they try a different locale? Because a gambling parlor, yeah.
No, the whole thing is just Empire Strikes Back all over again. Like Finn and Rey are split off. Rey is gonna be is the new Luke Skywalker, so she's gonna be trained by Luke. And I bet you Luke will die at the end of this one because they want to get rid of the old cast so that they can build their shit around their new shitty ass characters. Nothing against the new cast, but fuck these movies.
Producer and directors,
just fuck these movies. You want to know what the new Star Wars film should have been? Like, Force Awakens shouldn't have been Force Awakens. You know what Force Awakens should have been about, really? Force Awakens.
Restoration.
Well, no. Force Awakens, okay, look, you want to move away from the Skywalker legacy and Darth Vader and all that shit. Fair enough. You know what it should have been? You should have had people hunting down the remnants of the Empire. Like the admirals. Because these people did war crimes. They enslaved sentient creatures. These people are bad. You could have done a movie where these people are hunting down these people Munich style. Like, and these little fuckers trying to escape because they know they were on the losing side of a illegal regime. You could that would have been a totally good, you could have done an entire trilogy about that. Like them making their last stand, trying to basically not get killed for being the pieces of shit that they are. That would have been an awesome movie. But no, we need to get a new Star Wars trilogy that's literally the old Star Wars trilogy all over again. Because, you know, and people are like, I love this. It's the same. Do you have the original trilogy on video or DVD or Blu-ray? Yeah, then you don't need to see this shit because it's the same thing. I mean, with better graphics.
If they were going to do if they're going to do something like this, then they might as well just remade the original trilogy.
Well, that's what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. A Force Awakens, A New Hope. The next film is going to be Empire Strikes Back, and the third film is probably going to be Return of the Jedi. But there's no redemption for Kylo Ren, in my opinion. The only thing they can do is just have him die. Just die. Just fucking die.
No, I don't mean what they're doing now. Just literally shot by shot remake it.
Well, they already did that. That was called the Silver and Gold editions of the original trilogy, where George Lucas did all those touch-ups and added new scenes and shit. And that's already been done. Yeah, that's already been done. Yeah,
but at least the new trilogy uses less CGI, which many people complain about in the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
The prequel trilogy doesn't use as much CGI as people think it does. It does use a lot of CGI, but not as much as people think it does. In the Phantom Menace, when you see Naboo, the palace on Naboo, like the big, awesome palace with the waterfalls and shit, that was a practical special effect. That was not CGI. Ironic, I know. It was a miniature set that they shot, but it was not CGI. But there's a lot of scenes that didn't really use CGI. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. But this kind of morphed into a Star Wars cast. But before we end it, I just have one thing to say: fuck the new Star Wars movies, Force Awakens and the new one. Fuck you guys. Rogue One was pretty good, and if Ron Howard can pull things together, the Han Solo film will probably be good too. But I'm not watching the new trilogy because if I want to watch the old one, I'll just watch the old one because they're better. If I want to watch Empire Strikes Back, I have 3 copies of it. I'm good. I don't need to watch it again. Seriously, I don't need to watch. I have the silver edition VHS cassette tape of The Empire Strikes Back. I have the DVD of The Empire Strikes Back, and I have the Blu-ray of The Empire Strikes Back. I don't need to watch that shit again if that's what you're doing, which is what it sounds like they're doing. So, fuck you guys. I'm done. Anyone else have anything to say before we wrap things up?
Nope, I already said my stuff.
Pinky Don.
Me too.
Okay, so that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoy. Our next Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish will probably be about Star Wars, since it kind of bled over into this one. And this, we'll talk about Star Wars type stuff, movies, video games, comics. Yeah, we'll talk about the comics, and we'll even have a little something special for Life Day. That piece of shit special. So we'll even talk about those 2 indoor movies that Lucasfilm wants you to forget exist, but I remember and I saw them, and I have them on VHS, bitch. You'll never. I have those films. My evil laugh. So with that being said, good night and peace. Yes, I know I'm about to